Over the last 12 months, I've publicly documented building this brand on YouTube and going from zero to over $300,000 a month. But getting to 500k per month is a completely different game, because once you start scaling aggressively, you run into completely different problems. So in this series, I'm documenting everything: the tests, the wins, the losses, and the exact strategy that I'm currently using to scale this business whilst maintaining a 4x blended ROAS. And later in this video, I'm going to show you the one bottleneck that's preventing this brand from scaling faster, because fixing this one metric could literally double revenue without increasing traffic. Most people only share their wins, but scaling a business doesn't come without its trials and tribulations, and that's exactly what I'm going to uncover in this series. So before we get into the strategy, here's where the business currently sits. So as you can see, we went from zero to $1.3 million in revenue in a single year, from May 2025 through to May 2026. But since January 2026, revenue has been static. It's been sitting within this 100 to 200k per month range, and conversion rate is starting to lag behind. And that is the bottleneck we need to solve to scale this business to 500k per month. But first, let me show you the exact strategy that got me to 300k per month in the first place, because it's actually very simple. Also, quick one before we continue: for every episode in this series, I'm giving away a free coaching call. To enter, just like the video and drop a comment below. I'll randomly pick one winner from the comments and reach out directly. Good luck. Alright, so let's break it down. Now, those of you who have been following this channel for a while, you'll know how big of an advocate I am when it comes to Google Ads. And I managed to scale this store from zero to over 300k per month using Google Ads alone. And what I'm about to break down for you now is the exact strategy that I used. And it starts with product and market research, which is the foundation when building any brand. Okay, I always go to market. I look for 5 products within a niche that are $100 plus. A niche is just a category or subcategory of products. It's important that we find 5 products within a niche so that when we launch our brand, we can position ourselves as an authority. This is exactly what I teach all of my students how to do, and I practice what I preach. So I built a niche brand with 5 core products. The reason I launched with 5 initially is because typically the 80-20 rule applies. And what that means is 20% of your products will go on to produce 80% of your revenue. Don't ask how it works, it just does. If you want to learn more about it, Google the 80-20 principle. So by launching 5 products, we know that one of them is going to generate the majority of our revenue. And this is true for most e-commerce brands. They will always have a hero product or a few hero products that are their core bestsellers. And the same is true for my brand. Now, you can add more than 5 products. There's nothing stopping you. But adding more products isn't the only way to scale. Then what I did was pushed those 5 products into 4 different markets. And a market is just a country, right? This is very easy to do on Google. You can just duplicate one of your campaigns and change the targeted location. So I'm selling 5 different products in 4 different markets. And once again, this is another example of horizontal scale. Then what I'm doing is advertising on 3 different networks: Google Shopping, Google Search, and I'm also doing some remarketing on demand gen. Now, these are all perfect examples of horizontal scale, right? More products, more markets, more networks. If you think of a chart, you have your x-axis down here, which is the horizontal, right? So that's scaling with products, markets, and networks. These are essentially more ways to introduce people to your products and ultimately to your brand. Then you have the y-axis here, which is the vertical scale, which is where you use ad spend to scale vertically to get more visibility on these channels. Combined, if you scale horizontally and vertically, then your revenue should climb linearly, which is exactly what happened on my store between May 2025 all the way through to December 2025. We scaled our revenue and profit month over month. Google Ads have always been the growth engine behind this business, and there's a reason why. Because Google captures high intent traffic. But the problem is, Google alone mainly captures existing demand, which means eventually you hit a ceiling for the bottom of funnel traffic. Let me explain. Let's take a moment to think about the sales funnel, okay? Which is this. At the end of the funnel, we have a conversion, customer acquisition. Now, I was able to go from 0 to 300k per month by simply targeting bottom of funnel traffic. Let's take a moment to think about how Google works, right? Google is a search engine. You, me, and everyone else, we go there when we want to buy something, which means as a Google advertiser, I'm able to capture that existing demand. I'm not creating the demand. Customers are coming to me and I'm simply meeting them where they're already actively searching for a product. On Google, with my Google ad, which means the customer journey for me is very short. I only need to take the customer from my Google ad to my website to generate a purchase conversion. Whereas what most people do is they forget about this part altogether. And instead of building from the bottom up, they start with demand creation. They start on Meta. Now, what typically happens on Meta is you'll run an ad and only so many people are going to click on that ad and buy then, because Meta is an interruption-based marketing platform. Think about how you use it, right? When you go on Instagram, when you go on Facebook, you're scrolling to be entertained, right? You're looking to catch up, see what friends are doing and pass the time. No one opens their phone and goes, you know what, I'm going to go shopping on Instagram. It doesn't happen. Which means as an advertiser, you have to take someone from seeing that Meta ad all the way through to your website and generating a purchase conversion, which means as a Meta advertiser, your job is more difficult. You've got to take someone from entertainment to purchase when they weren't even looking for a product. And more often than not, what happens a lot of the time, especially if you're selling higher ticket products like myself, is someone will see a Meta ad and only a few are going to go straight to the website and convert. But a more natural conversion cycle is someone sees an ad, if they're interested enough in it, then they're going to go to Google, they're going to type in the name of the product. On Google, they're going to be met with Google Ads, which is exactly where I positioned myself. But the thing I find most interesting is most people in e-commerce, they skip this part altogether. They don't even have the foundation built on Google. And I can tell you for a fact that they don't, because that's where I'm positioned. How am I able to go from 0 to 300K per month with a new brand with no demand creation, no Meta ads, by simply leveraging existing demand? Where do you think that existing demand is coming from? It's coming from my competitors' Meta ads, driving customers to Google to type in the name of a product where they're met with my ad. And honestly, this is the part that most e-commerce brands completely misunderstand. They try to jump straight into Meta ads before they've built a strong acquisition channel at its foundation, which is something I break down in detail inside of my free school group. I have tons of resources and video trainings in there that you can access for free. Simply see the link in the video description for more information. Now, the only problem with capturing existing demand is that there is only so much of it, which is called TAM, Total Addressable Market, which is the only reason why my revenue didn't continue to climb after December, because naturally demand just started to taper down. Q4 is a big holiday season. You have Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas sales, January sales. So after that, it's only natural that Q1 becomes a little bit quieter. And to put it simply, there's just less demand on Google. There's less people coming to Google and typing in the names of the products that I sell. So to scale, I need to move further up the funnel. I need to go from the bottom of the funnel to the middle of the funnel. Now, most people think that Google is only bottom of funnel traffic, but Google actually has a demand generation network, which is built for middle and top of funnel. It's literally called demand gen. And I particularly like the Discover network. I recently set up some tests on there, and I'll show you the results of those tests in just a moment. But first, let me show you exactly what it is. Google Discover is essentially a personalized content feed that automatically displays articles, videos, and news updates tailored to your specific interests and browsing habits. And it looks exactly like this. So as you can see, it's a scroll stopping image and then a headline. It's almost like running native ads, but on Google. So here we are inside my Google advertising account, and I launched these campaigns on the Demand Gen network in April. And so far, nothing monumental, but we've got a base that we can now build on. Now there's a lot of different metrics here on the screen. So let me just take a screenshot and then break down the metrics that are actually important. So here we have cost, conversion rate, conversion value per cost, i.e. return on ad spend, conversions, and conversion value. My Google advertising account is in dirham, AED, but to convert that to dollars, you basically divide by 4. So you can see I've spent about $2,500, and as a result of that, I've generated about $5,000 to $5,500 in revenue, with a total of 8.5 conversions. This is just because Google attributes partial conversions across different types of campaigns. So essentially, Google believes that this campaign as well as another both contributed to the conversion cycle, which is why we've got a partial conversion there. Now, as you can see, I'm running 2 different campaigns. Each campaign is for a different product. And like I say, nothing monumental so far. Combined return on advertising spend is 2.22. So basically 222%, which means for every dollar spent, I'm generating about $2.22 in return, which is exactly what we're seeing when we compare the advertising cost versus the revenue. Now, the thing is, most people would have cut these campaigns ages ago, okay? But I'm happy collecting data at or even near break even because I know I'm just a few changes away from making this profitable, and I love opportunities that most people overlook. How many people do you know personally running Google ads, let alone running ads on the demand gen network? Right, so that there in itself is a huge opportunity. And I know if I can double my conversion rate, because truth be told, my conversion rate is a little low, right? You can see combined, it's only 0.43%. But if I can double that, I've then cut my cost per conversion in half and therefore doubled my return on advertising spend. And like I said earlier in this video, that's the one lagging metric that's preventing me from scaling further, my conversion rate. And later in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly how I intend on increasing my conversion rate, therefore making all of my campaigns more profitable and therefore scalable. But before we get into conversion rate optimization, there's another test I need to share with you because demand gen isn't the only test that I'm running. If you saw my last video, you'll know I've also invested into a meta team. Because if I want to reach 500k per month, I can't rely purely on bottom of funnel Google traffic forever. But if I invest in a meta team now, and if I can dial this in during Q2, I can feed tons of conversion data into my ad account and start building momentum. That will allow me to find out exactly what's working. I'll already be running at a decent budget with a healthy pixel, and my store will be optimized for middle of funnel and even top of funnel traffic. Now in the short term, running these tests on the demand gen network and on Meta may reduce overall profitability, but in the long term, it can massively increase scale potential. So let me show you what's going on inside of the Meta ad account. So we started by creating statics, okay, static image ads. And the intention here was to create 50 statics per week. We then put all of these statics into a CBO campaign on Meta, which would essentially allow Meta to determine where it wanted to push the spend. And then we sent all of that traffic directly to our product page. We were running ads just for one specific product. And as you can see, the results weren't anything too special. The ROAS was 1.49, and to be honest, that was at a stretch, okay? We spent about $1,200. According to the Meta Ad Manager, we generated 3 conversions, a total purchase conversion value of around about $2,000 and a 1.49x ROAS. And the reason I say at a stretch is because I believed Meta to be over-reporting, okay? When I actually looked at the attribution and the customer acquisition data as per the conversion summary on Shopify, all of the UTM tracking parameters were being attributed back to Google. And from what I could determine, what Meta was doing was basically just remarketing to my existing web visitors. So the conversions that were attributed back to the Meta ad account were only view-through conversions, meaning essentially someone had come from a Google ad, visited my website, been remarketed to on Meta, and then returned back to my website to complete the purchase. But even when I checked the conversion summary in Shopify, it always showed that the last click had been from Google anyway. So I do not believe that the Meta ads were truly contributing to the conversion cycle. And it certainly wasn't focusing on new customer acquisition, which is exactly what I wanted, right? Remember when I said we wanted to work our way up the funnel, we wanted to start doing demand creation and introducing new people to the brand and the products that I sell. So on April 20th, I paused everything and we redesigned the funnel. Instead of pushing cold traffic straight to a product page, what we did was we sent the traffic through to a listicle and then onto the product page. It looked a little something like this. Now, a listicle is essentially just a pre-sale page, okay? It is another landing page that is separate to your product page, and the intention behind it is to further warm and educate the audience. Therefore, only those that are interested enough in not only the ad, but also the listicle will then click through to the product page. Therefore, the traffic that you're sending to your website is much higher intent. And look at the difference. You can see here the ROAS is now 5.04. We spent $1,200 to generate over $6,000 in sales at a 5.04x ROAS. Now, remember, when we were sending straight to the product page, it was a 1.49x ROAS. And I've actually been able to track these orders back to new customers, people that otherwise would not have converted on Google. So in just 9 days, we spent $1,200 to generate over $6,000 in sales. At the moment, we're only running ads for a single product on Meta. And what we're doing is we're tracking the blended return on advertising spend. So we're measuring ad spend from Meta and revenue generated in the Meta ad account, then ad spend on Google and revenue attributed in the Google ad account, and then comparing that to what we're seeing on Shopify in terms of revenue and blended ROAS. The blended ROAS being Shopify revenue divided by combined ad spend to give us the blended return on advertising spend for that specific product. So now we're continuing to produce 50 AI generated statics per week, pushing that traffic to a listicle and then pushing the traffic from the listicle to the product page. And we're increasing the campaign budget in 20% increments every time we see opportunity to do so. And this is where things got interesting, because as you start scaling up the funnel, you expose weaknesses inside of the business. If you track the metrics at all stages of the funnel, from the ads to the listicle to the PDP, then you will be able to find the lagging metrics, and lagging metrics expose the bottlenecks. So what do I mean by lagging metrics? Well, at every point in the funnel, you're going to have one metric which is underperforming compared to the rest that's going to impact the entire funnel. For example, if we look at the meta ads and the statics, your click-through rate is going to dictate how many people land on the listicle. Then your click-through rate from the listicle is going to determine how many people land on your product page. Then your product page is going to determine how many people add to cart, initiate checkout, convert, and ultimately dictate your ROAS. So if we can double the click-through rate on the ad and double the click-through rate from the listicle to the product page, we've just 4x'd the amount of visitors you get to the site. And provided that the intent and the quality of the traffic remains the same, which it should be because the listicle essentially acts as a filter, then your conversion rate should remain the same. Or it should potentially be even higher because you've pre-warned the audience and educated them further via the listicle, which means you're then pushing more traffic at a higher conversion rate and therefore a higher ROAS. The same way that if your conversion rate on the product page was low, this is going to negatively impact your performance on the front end, because despite pushing traffic and generating a lot of clicks, your site is not converting at a rate that is good enough, which then makes the ROAS at each stage of the funnel look lower. As you can see, there are so many different variables as to what the issue could potentially be in your funnel. But if you don't track this, then how are you ever going to know? Because what gets tracked gets managed. And as long as you have visibility over these metrics, then you can always know what needs to be improved. And after I analyzed all the data in my funnel, I realized that the traffic wasn't the main bottleneck anymore. It was conversion rate. We can see here for the month of April 2026, my conversion rate is 1.54%. Now, if I can double my conversion rate, I've just doubled the amount of revenue without increasing traffic, which means I've not had to spend any more on the front end to generate that traffic. In fact, I'm spending the same amount and I'm able to double my revenue. Let me break it down in a way that's easy to understand. So here's a very basic calculation, right? Scenario A and scenario B. So this is me at the moment, right? 1.5% conversion rate, which means for every 100 visitors I send to my website, I generate 1.5 sales. For me, that would mean $810 in revenue, because my average order value is $541. Now let's assume we spent $200 to generate 1.5 sales. That would be a ROAS of 4.05, right? Which is simply revenue divided by ad spend, which means we spent $200 to generate 810. But if I'm able to double my conversion rate from 1.5 to 3, from that same 100 visitors, I wouldn't generate 1.5 orders, I would generate 3 orders. Now, provided my average order value remains the same, which it should because my product price isn't changing, then 3 orders would equal $1,620 in revenue. The amount of traffic I'm sending to my site has remained the same, which means my advertising spend remains the same, yet my revenue has doubled because my conversion rate has doubled, and therefore my return on advertising spend, which is the ad spend versus the revenue, has also doubled from 4 to 8. So now the focus shifts. Yes, I'm going to keep scaling demand gen and meta ads, and I'm going to continue to do so profitably, but at the same time, I need to increase my conversion rate so that I can scale more aggressively. So next week in episode 2, I'm breaking down exactly how I'm going to double my conversion rate and scale this brand to 500k per month. This will include rebuilding ICP documents, post-purchase surveys, heat maps, direct response copywriting, and split testing. So as you can see, scaling isn't just about increasing ad spend. It's about constant analysis and optimization. You need an active feedback loop. And that's exactly what I help people do inside of my mentorship program, the Google Ads Ecom Academy. If you want my help to build a successful e-commerce brand the same way I helped Yielder, Huddle, Ali, Yasser, Georgia, Kieran, and every other member inside of the Google Ads Ecom Academy, then see the link in the video description for more information. And for those of you who simply want to follow the journey in real time, make sure to hit subscribe. And don't forget, if you want the chance to win a free coaching call, like the video and comment below. That's all for this video, and I will see you next week in episode 2, where we'll be doubling my conversion rate.